Hello and welcome to Tennessee Railfan Productions. On this new channel, you will see an in-depth and professional look at how the railroad is operated and owned nowadays in the mostly in the East Tennessee area. For our first train on the new channel, we get NS T23, a local out of Greenville, Tennessee, coming down to work Bulls Gap, Tennessee, and then return back later in the day to Greenville. Here, NST23 is backing his cars down onto the Y that leads to Bulls Gap Yard at CP Hahn. You're watching him back through CP Justice right now on the NS A-Line. He is getting on the NS Appalachian District by doing this move. He has cars from many different locations in between Greenville, Tennessee and Bulls Gap, Tennessee, most notably the tank cars all coming from the nitrogen plant near Mossheim, Tennessee, and a couple of lumber cars from the lumber plant in Mossheim, Tennessee. There's one probably fixing to come by right as this one gets in the yard. Really? Yeah. Right after NST23 got into Bulls Gap Yard, the dispatcher in Atlanta gave the clear to NS15T. This is a road freight coming from Allentown, Pennsylvania, going to Irondale, Alabama, coming through Bulls Gap, Tennessee. After NS15T, the dispatcher gave the clear to NST23 to back his cars on down out of the yard. These are the cars he'll take back to Greenville. This is CP Hahn. This is where the Y in Bulls Gap that goes from the A-Line to the Appalachian District, both legs of it come together to create the single track heading into the yard at CP Hahn. 4 hours later, NS12Z, Chattanooga, Tennessee to Enola, Pennsylvania, is a daily manifest who normally would run around 7 a.m. through this area. It is now 5 p.m. This train went into emergency in Russellville, Tennessee, because they thought they had busted a knuckle, but the train had split apart because of drawhead issues, not the knuckle. So they're finally on the move after holding up plenty of trains, but they are finally on the move coming through Bulls Gap, Tennessee with 4 AC-44 C6Ms for power. For the last train that I would see this day, we see NS11Z, which is the counterpart to NS12Z. This train would have something special. The TAG, the Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia Railway Heritage Unit, known as the TAG, trailing as DPU on this train today. We would then manage to get ahead of the train in Russellville, Tennessee, near where the 12Z went into emergency earlier today, to catch the NS tag unit one more time before we had to call it a day.